Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer, también conocido como el caníbal de Milwaukee o el monstruo de Milwaukee, fue un asesino en serie y agresor sexual estadounidense que cometió el asesinato y desmembramiento de 17 hombres y adolescentes entre 1978 y 1991.
I had these obsessive desires and thoughts wanting to control them, to, I don't know how to put it, possess them permanently.
And that's why you killed them?
Right, right. Not because I was angry with them, not because I hated them, but because I wanted to keep them with me. And as my obsession grew, I was saving body parts such as skulls and skeletons. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. When you depersonalize another person and view them as just an object for pleasure instead of a living, breathing human being, it seems to make it easier to do things you shouldn't do.
You do sound, though, like the kind of person who could have said to himself, "This is wrong, I must stop."
I always knew that it was wrong, but after the first killing was not planned. I was coming back from the shopping mall back in '78. I had fantasies about picking up a hitchhiker and taking him back to the house and having complete control and dominance over him.
What happened to you in the 9 years in between that you were able to stop, that you were able to...
Sobre su vida y sus crímenes se han realizado decenas de series de televisión, películas y obras de teatro, sin contar los textos que se han escrito, desde reportajes hasta libros con testimonios de sus compañeros de secundaria. El último de estos productos se estrenó en la plataforma de streaming Netflix, una serie de 10 capítulos donde se exploran los crímenes de Dahmer, pero también su infancia y parte de su adolescencia, que se titula Monstruo, la historia de Jeffrey Dahmer.
You do sound, though, like the kind of person who could have said to himself, "This is wrong, I must stop."
I always knew that it was wrong, but after the first killing was not planned. I was coming back from the shopping mall back in '78. I had fantasies about picking up a hitchhiker and taking him back to the house and having complete control and dominance over him.
What happened to you in the 9 years in between that you were able to stop, that you were able to control yourself?
There just wasn't an opportunity to fully express what I wanted to do. There was just not the physical opportunity to do it then. And I started, when I moved to Milwaukee in '81, I started reading pornography, going to the bookstores. Eventually that led to frequenting the gay bars. And then one time I brought this young man back to the hotel room, the Ambassador Hotel. Was just planning on drugging him and spending the night with him. I had no intention of hurting him. When I woke up in the morning, he had a broken rib here. I was heavily bruised. Apparently I had beaten him to death with my fists.
And you have no memory of it?
I have no memory of it. But that's what started the whole spree all over again.
When you killed these men, afterwards, were you repulsed? Were you upset?
No, at the time, it was almost...
Es un hecho que Jeffrey Dahmer es un psicópata Pero, ¿estas conductas se crean desde el nacimiento? ¿O será acaso algo que se desarrolla mediante la infancia? Según un diagnóstico de Jeffrey Dahmer, se le ha diagnosticado como necrofilia, trastorno límite de la personalidad, trastorno esquizotípico de la personalidad, trastorno psicótico y dependencia del alcohol. Hay algunos peritos de la acusación que no estuvieron de acuerdo.
Complete dominance. They became reality.
Was there pleasure in that fantasy?
There was excitement, fear, pleasure, all mixed together. I was branching out. That's when the cannibalism started, eating of the heart and the arm muscle. It was a way of making me feel that they were a part of me. At first it was just curiosity, and then it became compulsive. Then I tried to keep the person alive by inducing a zombie-like state. By injecting first dilute acid solution into their brain or hot water, and it never did completely work.
Could someone like you be stopped? Could you be helped?
No, I was dead set on going with this compulsion. It was the only thing that gave me any satisfaction. I kept the mummified head and skull of one of the victims in a carrying case in my locker at work.
Were you almost flaunting it?
Yes, but that's how strong the compulsion was. That's how bizarre the desire was. I wanted to keep something of the person with me.
Do you know what started it? Was there any kind of incident that you can remember?
To this day, I don't know what started it. And the person to blame is sitting right across from you. That's the only person. Not parents, not society, not pornography. I mean, those are just excuses.
What was the turning point for you that made you suddenly realize that you had done something terribly wrong, something you should be sorry for?
It was the night of the arrest. I have no memory of what happened during the 6 hours before the last victim ran out of the apartment. I heard a knock on the door, and the police were there with the last victim. They asked me where the key was to the handcuffs. My mind was in a haze. I sort of pointed to the bedroom, and that's where they found the pictures. And they yelled, "Cuff him." And I was handcuffed, and it was just the realization that there was no point in trying to hide my actions anymore. The best route was to help the police identify all the victims and just make a complete confession.
10 of your 17 victims were black. Were they racially motivated?
It was
crimes?
not racially motivated. It was not sexual preference. It was just to find an obsession with the best-looking young man I could find. Never understood it. There was no use trying to fight it because I couldn't rid myself of it. It was too powerful and persistent.
Do you dislike it?
Yes, it's caused a lot of problems for me. A lot of conflicts and unanswered questions.
The conflicts remain with him, and so do his compulsions. But in prison, he finally cannot act on his savage desires.
If you were out on the street now, would you still be committing the crimes?
Probably. If this hadn't happened, there's no doubt I probably would be. I can't think of anything that would have stopped me.
Algo que caracteriza a los asesinos seriales es conocido por su falta de compasión y empatía hacia sus víctimas. En lugar de sentir pena o simpatía por la persona afectada, encuentran placer y gratificación en cometer sus crímenes. Algo sumamente interesante y tenebroso sobre el comportamiento humano, ¿no crees? pero lo que es seguro es que esto es una cruda realidad.